We'd like to welcome our visiting team, the West Jordan Jaguars starting lineup.
Good evening, everyone, on this pleasant Friday night from West Jordan, Utah. We welcome you to KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. And this is Copper Hills Basketball and Game Night Live Rewind presented by Extra Space Storage. And tonight, it's the battle of the West Jordan belt between the West Jordan Jaguars and the Copper Hills Grizzlies. And joined by my broadcast partner, Tyler Gibb. I'm Alexander Tumulip. And Tyler, I turn to you. First thing I say, we saw Copper Hills last Friday during that 76-63 upset of Corner Canyon. They took 8 days worth of frustration out on the Corner Canyon Chargers. Now the question becomes, as we said last week, what do they do for a follow-up?
A really strong performance last week. We saw a great Copper Hills team. That team will look a little bit different tonight as point guard Quincy Hills, who's normally their starting guard, is not playing tonight. They'll look to Hayden Shepard to fill his spot, start at point guard. He averages about 3.5 a game, a half an assist, a couple of rebounds. He is experienced, he is a senior stepping in to fill his shoes. Let's see if that changes the rhythm of this offense.
That's going to be the huge question throughout the night, is how are the Grizzlies going to cope with the absence of Quincy Hills? But we do know this, after having a scary moment last week, Kyson Hymas, number 35, is in the starting lineup, along with Logan Whitehour coming back after he suffered an ankle tweak last week. So you would think Copper Hills would still be able to put together a decent performance, but the question is going to be, can Shepard fill Quincy Hills' shoes?
Yeah, that will be the main question, but it helps to have guys like Moyer and Hymas in the front court to carry the load. The game was already in hand last week when Hymas went down, so he's able to sit the rest of the game. He's back and healthy, no brace or anything on the knee. Looks like he's 100%.
And they are in front of a pretty decent crowd here at their home floor tonight. We are underway as McCoy Langston takes the first possession. Again, no Quincy Hills in the lineup. This is Hayden Shepard who will be running the point. Sorensen out front, matched up against Boston Farmer, drives down, turn around in the post, left it short, and getting the rebound underneath is Asafe Tolfahema. Farmer drives down, kicks it back out to Spencer Dorenbosch. Here's Tolfahema on the block against Moyer. Tolfahema backs down, jump hook, too strong, and Moyer grabs the rebound. Langston looking to push. Moyer drives down into the paint. Gets it swatted away there by Tolfahema. Here come the Jaguars. Inside, that pass taken away by Moyer. Throws it away, though. Tolfahema regains control. Out front, here's a three on the way. And putting in the first basket of the game is Brandon Christensen.
Great defense from Copper Hills. A lot of open three-pointers come when there's a loose ball and offensive rebound. They got burned there.
Meanwhile, Langston misses the three. Here comes Farmer, and he double dribbled. And I must say, Tyler, we're looking across to that Copper Hills student section and looking back over here at the north side of the visiting section. It's about what we expect for a rivalry game. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intense the whole night.
It looks like Copper Hills is going with the beach theme. A lot of Hawaii shirts on the baseline. West Jordan with the camo. Must be two different things for the two schools.
You know, I've got to like that. As that ball stepped out of bounds, it'll go back to the Jaguars. I've got to like that because as a kid from Hawaii, I must be following the dress code because I'm wearing the same thing.
Yeah, were you messaging some students earlier today? You're wearing the Hawaii shirt. Fits right in.
I think that's probably a red flag as a broadcaster for KSL. As Asafe Tolfahema lays it in off the glass, and it's a 5-0 lead, 6:08 left here in the first.
Tolfahema and Moyer is an intriguing matchup. Both a little bit undersized as centers as far as height goes, but both thick and physical. It's going to be interesting to see how the physicality of that wears on the two and who can battle it out and be stronger tonight.
This very undersized West Jordan team shows a lot of athleticism and strength as Kyson Hymas knocks down the three. And that's the first basket of the game for Copper Hills. He had 17 last Friday against Corner Canyon, and an impressive performance at that before he left with that knee injury late in the fourth. Farmer off the cut, inside the paint, up and under move, lays it in. And with 5 1/4 to go here in the first, it is 7-3 in favor of the Jaguars.
If I'm West Jordan, I'm okay with Kyson Hymas taking that three. That's only the 4th three he's hit all year. You don't want Moyer and Hymas to beat you on the inside like you see Moyer right there. Make them beat you from the three-point line.
Quickly the other way, out front. Here's Christensen, another three. Off the side rim, though, good. Rat-a-tats around, and the umpire says it will be Grizzlies ball. Tyler, I don't say this very often on the air, but you can feel the energy in here. I mean, this game means a whole lot more. I mean, this is the first time that we were talking about as we were driving up here. This is the first time these two are in the same region in a while as Shepard misses the three. And this was an annually played game once a year. Now it's being played twice a year. So maybe this means a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, Copper Hills gets to welcome West Jordan into Region 3 play. Nothing better than starting with the rival close by. The energy is strong.
7-5 is our score as Moyer drives in. He is fouled by Asafek Talfahema. And again, we're going to tell you folks, if we're a little bit slow in updating the scoreboard, again, we have no clock. So we are going to try to keep it as updated as best as we can. So if we fall behind or if the scoreboard gets disconnected, we apologize in advance. As Moyer goes to the line, he hits the first. That foul on Talfahema, his first. 4:22 left here in the first quarter, 7-6. And make it a tie game as each team has now scored a touchdown. Continuing on your point, Tyler, as we're watching the Jaguars here out front, they can't allow the Jaguars, Moyer, to beat them inside. He's already got 4 early points.
Whatever you can do to get Moyer to step outside, force him to take jump shots, get him off his rhythm. Don't let him establish something inside. You saw last week, Moyer came out in the second half, started and hit a three-pointer. That's because he had already had 11 points in the first half, all in the paint. Force him to make the hard ones, make some jump shots.
Meanwhile, Justin Hurtado checks in for the first time. Here he is with it out front against Nathan Sorensen. Back it goes. Here's Farmer, drives down, kicks it out. Hurtado. Step through to the basket, up and under move, can't get it to fall. Sorensen the other way with it. Back to Langston. Thought about the three, and now he'll pull it back out and start the offense. Langston, back to Shepard. Against Farmer, backs down. Into the paint, there's Moyer again.
Great patience from Shepard, waits for the cut from Moyer. That should get Shepard a little bit settled in. He has a great pass.
Sorensen coming back with it the other way off the miss. Langston behind the back, goes down all the way to the basket. Left-handed scoop it in. 8 consecutive for Copper Hills. They lead by 4, quickly the other way. And laying it in is Christensen. And Tyler, I was watching the film on these Jaguars from their game against Alta. They don't get out and run in transition a whole lot, but when they do, they have a lot of talent to burn you on the back door.
Great quick guards with Prince and Farmer that can cut to the basket slash. I also like Christensen's ability to cut to the basket. When they get going downhill, Prince and Farmer are great at finding the open guy.
Meanwhile, behind the play, we have an offensive foul called against Luke Moyer, his first, with 2.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Asafek Talfahema checks out, and coming back in is Dorenbosch. And here comes Boston Farmer. West Jordan coming off an 85-70 loss to Westlake last Friday. Got a double-double performance from Prince. From Logan Prince, of course. 12 points, 15 rebounds. And Brandon Christensen at 26, including 4 threes. Here's Farmer with a left-handed scoop, blocked by Langston, tie up. And the possession arrow favors the Jaguars, and it will stay here.
Langston's a long, lengthy guard. He stands at 6'6". It's a tough drive for Farmer, who gives up 5 inches on that matchup to try to take that to the basket. And you see, even though he had a step length, Langston's able to reach back for the block.
And how about this, Tyler? Coming into the game, Logan Whitehour for Kyson Hymas, the two guys that were injured. So maybe that's saying something about the strategy that John Watkins has. Maybe keep Hymas on a minutes restriction to see if he can't protect that knee a whole lot during the night. That pass stolen away by Langston on the baseline, looking to push. And here comes Whitehour. Sorensen, open look, three-pointer. Bingo!
Sorensen is the one guy for Copper Hills that you don't want to leave open for three. He'll knock that down every time if he's open.
14-9, the score now with 95 left here in the quarters. We're going to get a foul called on LaCoy Langston. That's his first, team first. And that will send Brandon Christensen to the line where he already has 5. And he now has 6. And boy, John Watkins going deep into the bench. We have Ashton Howitt coming in. But again, Tyler, this kind of just points out the absence of Quincy Hills. John Watkins trying a lot of things early on to see if he can't find someone that will get into a rhythm here early on for the Grizz.
They've weathered that storm without Hills so far. They hold the lead. They're up by 3. The time for guys like Ashton Howitt to step up.
Here's Shepard out front. Here's Whitehour on the wing, back to Howick. Shepard, back to Langston. Langston, fake, hesitation, scoop shot up and in. Here come the Jaguars back the other way. Here's Christensen. Against McCoy Langston, drives in and gets the friendly roll. A minute to go, 16-13 in favor of Copper Hills. So after trailing by 4 early, 7-3, they've gone on a 13-6 run to claim a 3-point lead. And again, the big story for the Grizzlies, no Quincy Hills. Here's Sorensen again for 3. Let that short tip up and in, though, by Whitehour.
Whitehour was holding his guy off on the box out. Prince reaches up with his left hand. Incredible job to keep it controlled and tip it off the backboard for 2.
Whitehour stands at 6'3", over a guy that he probably is, giving up, Tyler, about 2 or 3 inches on him as we have 12 seconds to go.
That's no easy box out on Prince.
In the corner, Hurtado gets to the baseline. Back it goes. Prince blocked by Shepard. And that's how the first quarter will come to a close. Wow. Well, Tyler Gibb, I think we all better settle in because this is going to be a good one.
What a way to end the quarter for Shepard. Enters the starting lineup tonight for Hills. Ends the quarter with a massive block.
Well, what a start to the quarter, and what a start to the game we have had. The Battle of the West Jordan Belt will continue in just a moment. You're watching KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. This is Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live, presented by Extra Space Storage.
Ouch! Gonna need some pills for that one.
Hey! Prescription pain pills can be dangerous.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Easy there. You're her parent, not a drill sergeant. More love, then they'll listen.
Know your script. Talk to your kids about prescriptions the right way.
Welcome back to Copper Hills High School with Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. This is the Battle of the West Jordan Belt between West Jordan and Copper Hills, 18-13 as we start the second stanza. Alexander Tumlip alongside Tyler Gibb as Logan Whitehour gets to the bucket, can't finish. Moyer on the follow-up, he gets blocked. Scramble for it, Moyer goes up again, and this time the rebound is inhaled by Dorenbosch. Pass ahead, deflected and stolen away there by Whitehour. Grizzlies back the other way with it. Moyer out front against Dorenbosch. Kicks it back out. Whitehour. There's Moyer again. Back down low. Underneath.
When Taufahema's on the bench, Moyer has the size advantage. Shows it there. Takes advantage for an easy 2.
And then how about the response by Boston Farmer coming back the other way? 20-15 in favor of Copper Hills with 7 minutes left, just underway here in the second quarter. 6 quick points for Boston Farmer. Kyson Hymas, the crossover, kick out, Whitehour, 3, zip! And then meanwhile, we get a blocking foul against Whitehour on the other end. 23-15 with 6 3/4 minutes left here in the first half.
Great job by Kyson Hymas on the drive to keep his eyes up. The help side defense slid over. That left Whitehour wide open in the corner for the easy 3. That doesn't happen if Hymas doesn't have his eyes up.
And Tyler, that's already the third 3 as Taufahema goes up, cannot get the roll on the rim. And we're going to get a loose ball out of bounds. It'll go back to the Grizzlies as Taufahema couldn't save it on the line. .640 to go here in the second. 23-15 in favor of the Grizzlies. Moyer. There's Whitehour. Sorensen. Drives down against Taufahema, puts up a shot, that's no good. And the rebound by Logan Prince. Here comes Hurtado. Hurtado drives, jump stop. Farmer drives into the paint, high off the glass, no good, but he does draw the foul.
As soon as Farmer went up, you see the length from Copper Hills, all the arms flying up. Farmer's in there with a bunch of tall, long Copper Hills bodies, but he takes it strong and draws the contact, so he's able to get to the line for 2. If not, that's probably blocked.
You know, Tyler, I think I was watching the film on West Jordan against Alta as Farmer makes the first free throw, Langston comes back in. We saw the Jaguars have a lot of trouble against Alta dealing with those long athletic bodies, but so far, it looks like the Jaguars are holding up pretty well.
They are. They do give up some size to Copper Hills. They've been strong with their attacks. You need to be smart when you're going up against the bigger bodies. Keep your dribble alive, kick it out, force the defense to get on their heels.
5:55 left here in the second, just underway here. Hymas to the baseline, kicks it back out. Whitehour sets his feet for another 3. And the long rebound to Langston. He'll drive, floats it up. No good. And another foul is called against Asafe Taufahema. And if that's on him, that's number 2. As we get a look down there at Christian Wooden, he gets ready to sub Brandon Christensen back onto the floor. Wooden, the graduate of Dixie State University, as Langston cannot get the friendly hop off the back iron. You know, he's in a unique situation here, Christian Wooden, isn't he? I mean, a graduate of Dixie State, assistant for 3 years, Tyler, at West Jordan. He became the head coach only because Mason Sawyer, the previous head coach, resigned suddenly this past summer after truly a tragic accident that, it defies recognition to say how much of a good job he has done so far in getting these kids ready to play.
It does. You never want to have to enter into a situation like that with what happened at West Jordan. But that brings a team together in ways that on the court things can't happen. And so to see West Jordan come out and be successful, come out to an 8-5 start, that brings a team together. And Wooden has done a great job of keeping that team together, creating that bond, something that these players will remember forever.
And of course, the other thing we noticed, you notice that those patches on their right, I guess it's kind of their left shoulder, that's Blue Strong, the name of course, of former coach Mason Sawyer's son. As Christensen drives in, can't finish it. Out of bounds, it goes back to the Copper Hills Grizzlies. 4:52 left here in the second quarter. 23-18 in favor of the Grizz. As we're looking down here at West Jordan, Lucas Steele has just checked into the game, number 3. Imus out front off the curl. Sorensen to Moyer in the low block. Pass kind of got away from him. Moyer drives down, got it taken away there by Prince.
It was the 5'8" Justin Hurtado that stood tight on Moyer. Wasn't able to let him get inside and create time for the defense to slide over.
And on cue, there he is chasing down the long rebound to get it to Christensen. Farmer, his 13-footer from the free throw line, yes! And after being down by 8 earlier, it's now a 3-point game. 5 quick points for the Jaguars. Moyer to the basket.
That time Moyer takes advantage of the Taufahema foul trouble. Goes by Prince with ease. Tough size matchup there. Prince is going to have to guard him a lot tonight.
Dribbled off the foot of Langston. Here he comes the other way. Goes in off the glass, cannot finish, but he will draw the foul. As, of course, to the chagrin of the West Jordan student section over there, they didn't like the call. But then again, I don't think many people enjoy many of the things officials call these days. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's... It's not a knock on anybody, Tyler. I'm just saying, we've seen a lot of student sections get vocal in recent years as Langston goes 1 for 2.
Student sections like to make sure the refs know how they feel.
I guess we were in those shoes at one point. Here's Christensen. Hits the 3 from the left wing. 27-23. And Christensen now has, by my count, I believe he has 11. As Moyer drives in against Prince, no. And we're going to get another foul and more moaning and groaning from the West Jordan student section.
There you see Moyer again taking advantage of the size mismatch that he has on Prince. One thing for West Jordan that you have to be happy about is we haven't seen a lot on the offensive side of the ball from Prince. Normally, he leads the team in points, he leads the team in rebounds, he leads the team in steals, blocks. So if Prince is able to get going here in the second half, you have to like what you're seeing from West Jordan with the other guys stepping up.
Yeah, and to your point, Tyler, we talked about this. I think in our keys to the game is Moyer, or we're going to talk about it now, I guess, as part of the key we're looking at, is when Copper Hills is playing in transition, they're at their best, but this seems to fit more into the mold of the Jaguars. They want to get people out of rhythm and they want to slow down the game. And we haven't seen very many times where Copper Hills has been out on the run.
We haven't. They haven't been able to establish a whole lot of rhythm. Some good offensive possessions, but a lot of it's come from the foul line. Drawing fouls, not a whole lot of rhythm really for both teams.
That's the one thing we like about West Jordan. They like to muck it up inside, back out, extra pass. Here's another 3 on the way. Off the front rim and short, and we're going to get a foul on the floor. And that's going to go against Ashton Howick for a loose ball foul. The 15th foul on Copper Hills with 2 minutes 27 left here in the first half in a 5-point game. Here's Prince. Spins against Hymas, turnaround 10-footer.
Just the possession before we saw Prince go in for a layup, got to the hoop, but Hymas' length was able to alter the shot, and he missed it long. There we see Prince use a great pivot foot, turns back the other way so he can avoid Hymas' length and gets the easy 2.
That's what I like to call, that's what my good friend Kanoa Leahy likes to call, he put the defender in the blender there. My word.
Hymas was not able to stick with that move at all. Prince had him spinning.
And then that one is almost saved there by the much smaller Boston Farmer. And with 1:49 to go, I mean, Copper Hills, Coach John Watkins is going to have to figure this out. I mean, they're not in an offensive rhythm right now, and it's apparent they miss Quincy Hills' leadership on the floor.
They still hold the lead, but they haven't been able to create any separation. That's not a great shot if you're Copper Hills. You know, no shot clock, that's pretty early. You can get that shot whenever you want. If I'm West Jordan, keep forcing them to shoot from the outside. The times that they have got good looks on the outside is off of drives. They've been kicking it. We saw Kyson Hymas look out for a couple great looks. If they want to shoot early in the possession, let them.
Here's Prince off the drive, gets to the basket, and scores! And Logan Prince starting to heat up. And after once being down by 8, it's a 1-point game as we hit 1:15 left here in the first. Langston almost got it taken away, and he walked.
Normally Quincy Hills will have the ball in that situation. Without him, Langston takes the ball up the floor. Not used to being in that situation, and it's a turnover.
I have to say, Tyler, I was here last time doing the Hunter Copper Hills game. It's pretty darn quiet in here right now. A lot of nervous energy. High post Christensen, back out. Steele drives, kicks it back to Christensen again against the bigger Moyer. 45 seconds left here in the first half. As Farmer will hold it out front. And we also should point out both teams still have all their timeouts, but Christian Wooden down here on our left side not opting to use it here. And it looks like they're just going to go 4 corners here.
West Jordan content to take the last shot. Either go down into halftime down 1 or with the lead even. Not a bad strategy with no shot clock.
And here we go. Farmer will take it with 8, with 7. Farmer kicks it out. Wide open. Prince for 3. No good. Fiddled through traffic. Still loose on the baseline. And it will remain with the Jaguars with half a second left as Talfahema will check back in. Now, I'm going to try and make a Romo prediction here. I think we're about to see a lob here, aren't we?
Not a bad strategy with Talfahema. He is very athletic, able to jump high, get up towards the hoop.
And he is the biggest guy on the floor for the Jaguars by far. A Farmer not looking his way. There he is, and it is overthrown. Well, my prediction came true. It just did not come to pass as I think maybe Brandon or Christian Wooden would have liked.
They did get a good look. That's tough to execute. We saw DeAndre Ayton, you know, the Valley oop. It worked for them, but that's not an easy play. So good execution, but it's tough to get a basket.
So we've hit halftime here at Copper Hills High School. And wow, Tyler Gibb, it looked like Copper Hills was about to pull away early in that second quarter, but the Jaguars have fought back and they have made it a 1-point game here as we hit halftime.
It was the role players for the Jaguars that kept it close, and then we saw Logan Prince score the final 4 for West Jordan to make it a 1-point game at halftime. The second half, I think we're going to see a lot more Logan Prince. He got a great look there just before, a great look at the 3 on a pick and roll. Look for Logan Prince to have a big impact on the second half.
Well, it's going to be a great second half, folks. We have 9.5 minutes left until we start the third quarter, and if the first half told us anything, we all better buckle up. It's going to be a great second half. And the first region meeting of the Battle of the West Jordan Belt. Our score at halftime is the Copper Hills Grizzlies 28 and their West Jordan Jaguars 27. We're going to take a break for halftime, and we'll be right back with some halftime stats, thoughts, and the start of the third quarter. You're watching Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage, and it's part of KSL Sports coverage of high school sports.
Jake said these are awesome for studying.
Line. You shouldn't ever take someone else's medication.
Know your script. Talk to your kids about the dangers of sharing prescriptions.
Welcome back to Copper Hills High School. As we're listening to the Copper Hills Pep Band play the familiar tune of the White Stripes Seven Nation Army. We welcome you back to the gym for Copper Hills Basketball and Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage, part of KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. Our score at the half in the Battle of the West Jordan Belt is Copper Hills 28, West Jordan 27. With my broadcast partner, Tyler Gibb, I'm Alexander Timolip. And Tyler, I think in the first half, before the game started, we forgot to touch on another one of the keys to the game we were looking at. Which Copper Hills team was going to show up? Was it going to be the one that threw up the clunker against Farmington, or the one that came out impressively against Corner Canyon? So far, it's hard to tell.
It is. It's not like there's a lack of effort from what I've seen from Copper Hills. They're playing hard. It's more of been a little bit of a lack of flow. We saw last week against Corner Canyon, really great rhythm with the offense. A lot of cutters, a lot of movers, and Moyer and Hymas were playmakers. Tonight, there's been some stretches, there's been some moments where Hymas and Moyer have playmade, but it hasn't been consistent. We haven't seen them getting out and running and getting to the hoop. Last week it was a whole lot of rewards, a whole lot of treats at the basket where they would get out, get the rebound, and run. Some of that, probably Quincy Hills being absent tonight.
And the Jaguars are doing a really good job. Let's give some credit to the Jags before we start the second half. They have done an excellent job at taking this Copper Hills team out of the rhythm because, like we said, when Copper Hills is running out in transition, they're at their best. But this slow tempo pace of game is exactly what West Jordan wants to do. And I think Christian Wooden must have the same message going through his head than in the first half. Just keep doing the same.
Yeah, Brandon Christensen was a glue guy for them a lot of the first half, kept them in it. And then Logan Prince turned it on towards the end of the second quarter. So they're in a great position, West Jordan is. They haven't let Copper Hills really assert themselves in this game.
Logan Prince, meanwhile, with the first drive of the second half, he can't get it to fall. Hymas running out ahead. Langston back out. Sorensen flyby. Can't pull the trigger. Langston will try the three. And Talfahema up for the rebound, and he hands off to Farmer. Christensen drives on Langston all the way into the basket. Can't get it to go. Talfahema flying in for the rebound. Farmer spins, puts up the floater. It goes! And the West Jordan Jaguars have their first lead since it was 4-2 very early on in the game, with 7:08 left here in the third quarter. Just underway here. Brandon Christensen, by the way, had 8 in the first half. Logan Prince had 11. Boyer on the baseline. And Shepard. Wow, Shepard had to go right through his hands, but the referee on the far side says it was deflected, and so it'll stay here with the Grizz. With 6:53 left here in the third. Langston off the screen, back to Moyer. In the high post, 15-footer. Right rim and short. Farmer chases down the rebound. Here come the Jags.
2 possessions for Copper Hills and 2 jump shots that they settled for. You've got to attack if you're Copper Hills. If I'm Kyson Hymas, keep taking that towards the hoop. You don't need to settle for those threes. That one more in rhythm, catching it on the shoot, but keep attacking the basket.
Langston now has 7. In the block, Christensen turnaround fall away from 3 feet, no good. Langston the rebound. And it looks like the Grizzlies might have numbers, 4 against 3. Langston pull up for 3. Zip! Back-to-back threes for McCoy Langston, and the Grizzlies back up by 5. Farmer in the post, up and under. Rattles out, but he does draw the foul. And the foul is going to be called on Nathan Sorensen, and John Watkins is looking down here at the umpire saying, what gives?
McCoy Langston wanted to prove me wrong. As soon as I start talking about settling for jump shots and three-pointers, he comes down and hits 2 in a row. The first one was off a catch and shoot. Hymas turns around, gives him a little handoff. Good look. The second one is just on the fast break. He hit one, he's in rhythm. He pulls up with some space and knocks it down. Nothing but net for both of them.
Langston hit 4 threes in the first quarter of their game against Hunter back on December the 1st. As that rebound is tipped out of bounds, it will stay here with the Jaguars. Not the first time, I think, that a broadcaster, Tyler Gibb, will admit that he was wrong about something.
I will admit, he got me to change my mind, shut my mouth real fast.
Talfahem on the low post, can't get it to go. Deflects out of bounds, it will go back to the Grizzlies with 5:49 left. Should point out the largest lead for Copper Hills was 8 points. West Jordan's largest lead was 4. And that was when they were up 7-3 early in the first quarter. Langston again against Christensen. The two stars going at it. Langston, backdoor cut. Try to find Hymas. It's deflected out of bounds by Farmer. We'll stay here. 5.5 to go here in the third. Sorensen. And now Moyer. Langston, he'll try it again. And Christensen snatches up the board.
Now that one, at the beginning of the half, I would have said not as great a look, but after he hits 2, he has a little bit of separation. You got to pull the trigger when you're hot.
The old heat check never fails. Talfahema inside, gets the roll. 8 points for Asafe Talfahema, and it's 34-32 with 5 minutes left here in the third. And Moyer shuffled the feet. So things getting a little sloppy here for Copper Hills. That's their third turnover here in the quarter, and we're almost halfway through. Here's Prince, back to Dornbosch. In the low block, Talfahema backs down, turn around in the lane, blocked by Moyer. But there was a foul before then. And they're in fact gonna get McCoy Langston for the foul. That is number 2, I believe, on Langston. And that will put Asafe Talfahema at the line.
Moyer had good position on Talfahema. Langston tried to slide over, get a strip. Moyer thought the foul was on him. He was looking at the ref saying, come on, I was straight up. But Langston just getting a little bit antsy, reaches in. When Moyer's in good position like that, no need to get a ticky-tack foul.
Yeah, Moyer was not only in good position, Tyler, he blocked the shot. Talfahema goes 1 for 2. And up for the rebound is Hayden Shepard, and here comes Langston. 34-33, 4.5 minutes left here in the third. Hymas against Christensen out front. Langston wide open, another 3.
That was a great action from Copper Hills. One of the better offensive possessions we've seen.
And then, what about the save there off the block from Sorensen? Here come the Grizzlies the other way. Langston, Sorensen. They can't get set into their half court yet now. Now they will. Here's Sorensen. And again, he shuffles the feet.
Going back to that possession before where Langston hit the 3, they ran Sorensen across the baseline and up as a decoy. Sorensen's normally their best three-point shooter, so they're paying attention to him. Langston, he's been hot, already hit 2 before that possession. He just comes out, rolls on the other side. Same exact motion that Sorensen ran, but they hit the hot hand, and Langston's able to knock it down, get Copper Hills into it.
Third three-pointer of the quarter for McCoy Langston. Driving into the post. Farmer all the way in. What a strong take by the little guy. And back to a 2-point game with 3.5 minutes left here in the third. What a fourth quarter we're going to be set up for here tonight. And the strip there by Prince. Here come the Jaguars. Christensen, extra pass. Hurtado, ping pong back and forth. Back out to Prince. Here's Talfahema. Looked like he dribbled it on the baseline. No call, though, by the official. Instead, Talfahema goes up strong. Score it, and the smack. What a strong take by Asafe Talfahema. Well, they have not put it up on the scoreboard yet, but we do think it should be an and one, and it is. And it's tied at 37, and Asafe Talfahema now has 12. And you talk about being strong inside. We talked about it, Tyler. West Jordan is giving away some size, but the athleticism very, very clear right now for these Jaguars.
It's been Langston for Copper Hills this half, but we can't forget about Talfahema, who's had a couple strong takes and got to the foul line already multiple times this quarter.
Talfahema tips it out of bounds. It'll stay here. Tyler, I think I've noticed a trend here. I don't think anybody's led by more than 3 points this entire quarter. As that pass is thrown into the backcourt, and another Copper Hills turnover. And if I got my count right, the Grizzlies have 5 turnovers here in the quarter.
They've been sloppy. They've had the lead since the first quarter for most of the game. They'll get it extended, but then they get sloppy, turn the ball over, and it leaves chances for West Jordan to hang tight. We see it's a tie game right now. Copper Hills wasted a few possessions where they could have really blown this game open.
And it's a full timeout call by Christian Wooden, but we're going to keep it on the air here. And that timeout, Tyler, must be Christian Wooden sensing something in the water here. Tied at 37. This Jaguars team has been in it from the very start of this game. And even though they were down 8, you just never could really get comfortable if you're a Copper Hills fan that this team was out of it.
West Jordan, this team is tough. We know what they are going through as far as the coaching change, big tragedy within the program. But for them to be hanging around like this, they've fought, they've battled. They find themselves in a tie game, and it's because of plays like Logan Prince just 2 possessions ago. Copper Hills gets a drive. Prince is able to get the strip. They're creating extra possessions for themselves. And just on that last possession, Copper Hills, they throw it out of bounds. Shepard fell down, but it's because of the physicality that West Jordan's playing with. As Shepard got up, he looks at the coach. You know, they're talking about how physical West Jordan is playing them, and it's creating problems.
And again, we were just talking about it. This team is tough. You want to know how tough they are, Tyler. This team came back from a 16-point deficit against Alta and won it by 6 points back on December 29th. So they have been in these situations before, and certainly Asafe Talfahema has been in those kind of scoring situations as the Jaguars mosey back in front with 2:40 left here in the third. Talfahema has 14 points. Here's Moyer against Talfahema, and Talfahema commits the foul. And that is going to be Asafe Talfahema's 3rd foul with 2:29 left to go.
Coach Wooden set up a great play out of the timeout. He senses a chance for them to really take momentum, grab the lead. He runs Christensen and Talfahema off the low screen, off the ball on the opposite block, and that creates Talfahema to escape free for an easy bucket.
I'm sure Wooden's done that before, the former assistant coach at Dixie State. Assistant coach here at West Jordan for about 3 years before taking the job just this past July, as we said, with the tragedy suffered by Mason Sawyer, the former head coach. Whitehour to Moyer in the high post, 15-footer. Too strong, and the rebound by Christensen. 2 minutes left. Copper Hills trails by 2. Farmer, pull-up 3. Too strong. It went in, but it hit the stanchion cord, and that's dead by rule. And so that will go to the Copper Hills Grizzlies. Well, I wonder what the response is going to be here, Tyler, as we enter the 4th quarter for Copper Hills, because it's been a sloppy 3rd quarter. They need something to get going offensively. They have no rhythm, and you can feel it.
The only points they've got in the 3rd quarter is off of 3 Langston threes. 2 of them in transition, 1 off of a great play design. And you see what happens. That's the first points in the paint in this second half. You hit the few threes. Now that's going to force West Jordan to step outside a little bit, take advantage of that, drive and cut to the basket like you see on that possession.
Tied at 39 now as Logan Prince throws it away underneath. Luke Steele checks back in for the Jaguars. 1 minute, 17 left here in the third quarter. We are deadlocked at 39. Nobody has led by more than 3 points this entire quarter. There have been 6 ties and 3 lead changes in this third. Langston, pull up from the right side. Lifted short. Moyer goes up for the rebound. Deflected out of bounds by Spencer Dorenbosch with 59 1/10. It will stay here.
Now, if I'm Langston, keep your dribble alive. Keep going to the basket. You had a step. Don't pull up for the jump shot. Take it to the hoop.
It's been a common theme here in the third quarter. Another missed jumper there. Here comes Farmer. Kick out. And it goes right through the hands of Luke Steele out of bounds. And that will go back to the Grizzlies with 49 and a tick left here in the third quarter. Langston, by the way, has 9 in this quarter. He now has 13 for the game. He now has 14 for the game. Isafe Talfahem on the bench with the 3 fouls. He has 14 to lead the Jaguars. Sorensen wide open, wing side 3. And 30 seconds remaining as Prince gets the rebound, leads the break. Steele, left-handed 3. Rattles out. And High missed the rebound, and this will be the last shot, I assume, here in the third quarter, as John Watkins calls out the play.
I thought that was an opportunity for West Jordan to slow it down, take the last shot, and go tied or with the lead into the fourth quarter. Instead, Copper Hills gets the ball back, and now they can take the last shot.
Moyer is going to do it himself. 6-footer right side. No good. Rattled around. And Hurtado, his three-quarter court heave is no good. And that's how the third quarter comes to a close. Tied at 39 here in the Battle of the West Jordan Belt. What a fourth quarter it's going to be, folks. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the start of the fourth quarter in 60 seconds. You're watching Copper Hills Basketball on Game Night Live, presented by Extra Space Storage. This is part of KSL Game Night Live Rewinds coverage of high school sports.
Ouch! Gonna need some pills for that one.
Hey! Prescription pain pills can be dangerous.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Easy there. You're her parent, not a drill sergeant. More love, then they'll listen.
Know your script. Talk to your kids about prescriptions the right way.
We're going to tell you this, and we're going to tell you this once, folks. Get a drink, get your snacks, strap on, and get settled in for what is going to be an epic fourth quarter. It is tied at 39 between West Jordan and Copper Hills. These two schools separated by 4.5 miles on the West Jordan Belt, and they are putting on a show for the fans here tonight.
This is what you love about region play. Physical, strong, tough basketball. Nobody able to break away from each other. We're tight in the fourth quarter to start. That's what you love.
Alexander Timolip alongside the voice you just heard, Tyler Gibb, as we're starting the fourth now. In this Battle of the West Jordan Belt, this rivalry game annually played now twice a year, a renewal of hostilities between these two schools separated by 4.5 miles. Gotta love it. There's McCoy Langston out front. He has 14. He's matched up against Talfahema, who has 14. Almost ripped it away from him. But Langston decides to go at him, backs him off. And now Whitehour will take possession. Whitehour backs down Prince. Fly by, up and under, backs it in! What a move by Logan Whitehour! And the Grizzlies have the lead back. Talfahema backs down inside. Offensive foul. And that is number 4 on Isafe Talfahema with still 7 minutes left. What a turn of events!
We saw Moyer get beat a couple times in the third quarter. Stand your ground. He stayed tough. You love to see the heart from Moyer. Draws the charge on that possession.
Brandon Christensen checks back in. Here's Langston in the high post, back to Moyer. Drives down, and he commits the offensive foul. It's been a theme of the second half, Tyler. A lot of missed opportunities for the Copper Hills Grizzlies.
There has been, and it's the two leading scorers from both teams on the last two possessions that make a big play on the defensive end. Moyer draws the charge on one end, Prince does it on the other. You love to see the leadership from your two leading scorers on the defensive end.
And the reason why I'm craning over you here, Tyler, is that Luke Moyer, he's looking a little hobbled. Probably could be a knee or it could be an ankle or some kind of issue. We'll have to check on that. Hurtado with the spin and the drive. And Sorensen fouls Hurtado from behind. I had a pretty good look at it, Tyler, and I think that's a good call. It looked like Sorensen got a lot of arm.
Hurtado's one of those guys, he's 5'8". It's tough for him to finish inside. If you're Sorensen, it's so tempting as a defender to reach in and try to slap the ball away. Just keep your arms up. You've got the height on Hurtado. You've got help defense that can come over. Don't let Hurtado get to the line for the easy two. Make him finish up and over you. If he does, shake your hand and tell him good job.
And this is the other key, Tyler, that's keeping the Jags in the game right now is it's 41-40 with 6:43 left. Is they're making their free throws, and they're coming at some timely spots in this second half as we're tied again at 41. Here's Hymas. Sorensen out front. Whitehour. The denial there in the post there by Hurtado against the much bigger Luke Moyer. Langston the spin and the drive. Can't finish. Gets his own rebound and goes back up and scores off the glass. 16 for Langston. 43-41. Up and under move. That rolls off the rim. And we're going to get... Are we going to get a goaltend? We are. The ref, the umpire underneath the basket said count the basket. Apparently there was basket interference against Copper Hills. I didn't see where the contact on the rim was. Did you, Tyler?
I couldn't tell if it was from grabbing the net or sticking their hand up through the hoop. I'm not sure where it came from. The ref must have seen something we didn't. Big break for West Jordan, and now a quick turnover, and West Jordan has a chance to take the lead again. 7
turnovers in the second half for the Copper Hills Grizzlies, tied at 43 with 5 minutes, 52 seconds left. Christensen out front. Steele, Hurtado, Christensen, Prince, and Farmer, the 5 right now for the Jags. Hurtado looked like he got away with a push-off. Christensen backs down Whitehour, kicks it out. Steele, open look, three-pointer. Air ball right over the top of the rim, and Whitehour chases down the board. Here comes Langston looking to push. Sorensen drives, and Moyer cannot control the pass. 8 turnovers for Copper Hills in this second half.
Even when they make a great play, great pump fake from Sorensen, he's able to attack and get some penetration. It just hasn't been going Copper Hills' way tonight.
Prince drives down against McCoy Langston. Offensive foul called against Logan Prince. As Hayden Shepard gets set to check back in, he will replace Logan Whitehour with 5:08 left to go here in the fourth quarter. You know, Tyler, I think right now it's going to be a matter of who can get in the rhythm first.
The points are, they're not coming easy for either team. Each basket is going to be a prize coming down the stretch.
Langston has 16 of the 43. Here's Sorensen, high post, kicks it out to Shepard. Langston out front against Prince, backed into the low block. Moyer, jump hook in the lane. Score it! And the foul! What a huge basket for Luke Moyer as the Grizzlies retake the lead, 45-43, with 4 3/4 minutes to go. Moyer completes the three. 46-43.
You have to wonder how long Christian Wooden is going to keep Taufahema on the bench with the 4 fouls.
Yep, that's going to be the big question. Logan Prince to the basket off the cut. And it's back to a 1-point game again. 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of this epic tussle between these two rivals. Langston into the high post, drives, puts up the floater, left it short. Hymas cleans up the spill. 48-45. 4 minutes left here in the fourth. Hurtado out front against Sorensen. Spins into the low post. Back out. Wide open. Steal for 3. Rattles out. Hymas the rebound. Langston drives, puts the shoulder down, turnaround shot, banks it in! And a timeout is called by John Watkins, and he'll set up the defense with 3:41 to go. What a second half for the Copper Hills Grizzlies. Big-time scoring, man. That is 16 for McCoy Langston. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. What a second half it's been for Langston, for McCoy Langston there, Tyler Gibb.
Last week, Langston didn't do much because he didn't have to. This week, Quincy Hills is down, so he takes over the ball handling responsibilities, and he has stepped up huge. Without his contributions in the second half and his ability to make the outside shot, which is now setting up his attacks off the dribble, without that ability, Copper Hills is not where they are in this game. West Jordan's done a great job at shutting down Moyer and Hymas, but Langston has stepped up in a huge role.
Now let's point out, Tyler, Luke Moyer and Kyson Hymas combined to score 46 of the 76 last week against Corner Canyon. This time it's the opposite, where everyone has had to combine to score 34, but McCoy Langston has 16 of the 50. It's a different story this week. High post, and Prince is fouled by Hymas on the reach-in. And that's a pretty good foul, I think, because if he doesn't get the foul there, Christensen's probably on his way to the basket to score.
They drew it up so that Prince could flash to the elbow, draw the attention, and he did. Christensen's guy who was on the wing snuck over, and he just snuck back door. It was wide open. Good foul.
Hurtado drives down to the high post, kicks it out. Christensen open look for 3. Zip! Back to a 2-point game again with 3:14 to go, 50-48. Every possession so crucial right now in a game like this. Here's Sorensen out front. Kyson Hymas. Backdoor cut, Langston. Drop step, left foot, left-handed layup, off the rim, too strong. And here come the Jaguars with a chance to tie or take the lead again. And Boston Farmer will slow it down. Reminder that Copper Hills is 1 foul away from going into the one-and-one penalty. Still 2 fouls to give for West Jordan. Hurtado with the spin. Prince will try the 3. Left it short. Shepard the rebound with 2:27 left in the fourth.
Prince is a great shooter, but no need to settle. There's no shot clock, so don't settle if you can attack to the hoop. And on the other end, if you're Copper Hills, there's no shot clock. Keep the ball outside. If Copper Hills is just going to let you dribble out there, do it for as long as you can. Obviously, you're probably not going to be able to hold the ball for the final 2:17, but hold it out there until you're able to force the defense to get scrambled and then work your way inside.
The 9th turnover of the half for Copper Hills. 2:06 left here in this fourth quarter. Prince all the way, left-handed scoop, will not go. Taufahema couldn't get the rebound, and Shepard does. And again, as you said, Tyler, John Watkins really pleading with this team to slow it down. 1:50 left here in the fourth of a 2-point game. Langston drives, and a foul called on Boston Farmer. The 15th foul called against West Jordan, so they still have 2 more fouls to give until the Jaguars are in the one-and-one penalty. Both teams still have 4 timeouts left, and it looks like John Watkins is going to take one of them here, and it's a full timeout. So we're going to take a break and we're going to step aside. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage, part of KSL, Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports.
Jake said these are awesome for studying.
Line. You shouldn't ever take someone else's medication.
Know your script. Talk to your kids about the dangers of sharing prescriptions.
.145 to go here in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. This is Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage. Alexander Timolip, Tyler Gibb, with 1:45 to go, just out of the timeout. And Tyler, 9 turnovers in the second half for Copper Hills. Combine that with West Jordan has been able to hit their free throws. This may end up turning into a game of who comes down to making their free throws at the end.
Both teams are going to be in the 1-and-1 bonus here soon. Nobody's in the double bonus, so it will come down to who can knock down their clutch free throws. That's what it's looking like.
And who can make the better decisions with the basketball will also be key. McCoy Langston leads all scorers with 16, as Suffolk Talfahema has 14 points. He's the only one in serious foul trouble with 4. Langston into the corner, kicks it out. Shepard can't shoot. 90 seconds left here in the fourth. Hymas gets to the baseline, cut off there by Farmer. Moyer backs down Talfahema, puts up the shot, will not go. Hymas follows up the miss and scores. 52-48 in favor of Copper Hills with 1:14 to go here in regulation. Talfahema drives in, and a foul is called on Luke Moyer, and if that's on Moyer, that is his third. And like you just said, Tyler, that now puts the Jaguars in the 1+1 bonus. Huge free throws here. Back to a one-possession game again. 1:06 left in regulation.
That first free throw in a 1-and-1 is so big, especially in a 4-point game. Great job from Talfahema to calmly knock it down.
Talfahema has 15 now, and he leaves the second one short, but it remains a one-possession game as we hit the final minute of play here in regulation time. And it's safe to assume if Copper Hills misses this shot, it will be the Jaguars who have the final say of regulation. Sorensen against Spencer Dorenbosch. Langston against Farmer, doubled up, drives into the paint. Tough turnaround shot, rolls around, will not go. But he draws the foul with 41.5 seconds left here in the fourth. And John Watkins is bringing Logan Whitehour back onto the floor here. I assume it's for free throw shooting purposes.
Prince was trying to tell the ref that he just hit the ball, but it's so hard and so tempting to slap down when a guy drives in. It looks like he caught his arm on the way down to the ball. I thought it was the correct call.
53-49, 41.5 left here in the fourth. Langston hits both. 5-point game with 41.5 to go. 54-49. And a timeout is called. As Christian Wooden was almost darn near halfway out on the floor, trying to get the officials' attention. I mean, he's 6'8". I mean, it's hard to miss a guy like that when he's standing right in front of you.
I didn't see him calling for the timeout because he was so calm. He was walking out onto the floor. Normally when you see a coach out on the floor, they're yelling, screaming, trying to get the ref's attention. Wooden just walked up to the ref and just said, hey man, I'll take the timeout.
I never understood why coaches could do that in those kind of late game situations. How can one be so calm in a situation like this, I wonder to myself. All the time I wonder that to myself.
I'm sure on the inside he's not as calm as he appears. If I'm Christian Wooden, look to get Prince involved. This ball has to go to your best player, Logan Prince. He's a great playmaker. Get him driving downhill, and you've got to go quick. No time to sit outside and hold the ball. You got to get into your action quick. You need at least 2 possessions if you're West Jordan. So get the ball into Prince's hands and let him make the play.
Game reset for you guys here real quick. Copper Hills is 17 fouls, West Jordan 6. West Jordan and Copper Hills will be both in 1+1 penalties on their next fouls. And 3 timeouts are left aside. Austin Farmer out front. Christensen drives down in the paint, kicks it out. Dorenbosch stolen away by Hymas. Still loose in the paint, and it's going to be a tie-up. It doesn't matter because the possession arrow will favor the Jaguars with 21 seconds left here in the fourth.
That's a break for West Jordan. They tried to get Prince on the opposite side as they ran a motion. They ran a motion on the bottom of the screen with Prince going up top, trying to get him open for the 3 on the other side, but we're never able to get it to him. I like just getting the ball in his hands right away.
Now we're going to have a conference over here. The officials have come over to the scores table. And I wonder here, Tyler, if they're going to put some time back on the clock here, because a lot of time went off the clock.
The clock sits at 21. It looks like they'll leave it at 21.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to leave it. So it'll be Farmer to inbound. Looking for someone to get it to. Got it to Christensen. Back out. Here's Prince for 3. Left it short. Saved, though. Into the arms, though, of Shepard. And he is fouled with 12.1 seconds to go. And the Copper Hills faithful are starting to sense it. It'll be a 1-and-1 with 12.1 left. (55-49) as Shepard hits the first.
West Jordan drew up a great out-of-bounds play to get Taufahema a quick lob and an easy 2. And the pass was just a little bit late. Taufahema was breaking to the hoop and the ball wasn't there. It went behind him. They were still fortunate to get a good look from Prince, but he wasn't able to knock it down. Now Shepard's got a chance to put this game on ice if he makes this second free throw.
Yeah, it is still a 2-possession game with 12.1 seconds to go. Copper Hills took the timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. So they now have 2 left. West Jordan has 3. Both teams are in the 1+1 penalty. No more fouls to give. And after a great back and forth, Tyler, what a game this turned out to be on both sides. Shepard's second shot is too strong. Fight for the rebound. Christensen has it. And Hymas with the steal from behind. And Prince commits the foul with 6.9 seconds to go. And isn't it ironic, Tyler Gibb, after being quiet all night, it's Kyson Hymas who comes up with 2 huge plays to ice this. Wow.
Kyson Hymas stuck in this ball game. Didn't do nearly as much as he did after having a career night last week. But Kyson Hymas may have had the 3 biggest plays in this fourth quarter. The first one, he sneaks in for a weak side offensive rebound, and then he does the same thing again when they need a basket. I believe that one put him up by 4 when he snuck in for that weak side rebound. And then there, with the chance for West Jordan to maybe throw up a couple threes towards the end, he gets the steal and just says, I'm going to take care of this myself.
The bench has been empty for John Watkins as the free throw is good. 57-49 or 58-49 is now the score. Farmer long range 3, no good. Tip up. Prince puts it in at the buzzer, but that's it. And the Copper Hills Grizzlies get all they can handle from the West Jordan Jaguars, but the West Jordan belt is theirs. What a win for Copper Hills, 57 58-51. What a game, Tyler Gibb.
Well, that was fun. A great way to start out region play for Region 3 with West Jordan and Copper Hills. It was a dogfight all night. Both teams fought hard. It's exactly what you'd expect from two schools that are 4.5 miles apart. Not super clean all night, but fun, gritty basketball.
Copper Hills gets its 10th win of the season. They are now 1-0 in Region 3 play. West Jordan falls to 8-6. They are now 0-1 in Region 3 play. But let's not discount Tyler Gibb as we give you some thoughts here post-game. Let's not discount the fight and the tenacity that the West Jordan Jaguars showed tonight. That was an impressive performance by the West Jordan Jaguars. And Christian Wood and this team should be very proud of their effort here tonight.
They should be. This team is tough. West Jordan is a physical team. They rely on the physicality of Taufahema, of Prince, and they showed that tonight. There's going to be a lot of great games for them in Region 3, a lot of opportunities to battle like they did tonight. It's a tough region, but West Jordan showed that they can hold their own as they start enjoying Region 3 this year.
And you know what? I cannot wait, Tyler Gibb, for the return leg of this matchup. You can only imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like at West Jordan High when the Grizzlies come to play that game.
That will be another fun one. We'll see if the two schools can draw up and figure out how to create easier buckets for themselves in that second rematch, because it wasn't a lot of easy buckets tonight. It took Langston getting hot in the second half and hitting some threes, and then a couple of second chance points in the fourth quarter to really put the game away.
McCoy Langston, by the way, finishes up with 16 points. And Suffolk Taufahema finishes up with 16 to lead the Jaguar scores. Next up for the Jaguars will be Mountain Ridge. They'll have their home opener, and the Copper Hills Grizzlies will head off on the road to Riverton next weekend. But Tyler, what a fun start to Region 3 play here tonight, and what a start to what we hope is going to be an annual renewal 2 times a year of this rivalry, because this is fun to watch.
I'm still yet to figure out what the beach theme and the camo theme is from the two student sections. I never caught on to that throughout the game, but that was fun. You love this region play. Most of these students, a lot of them know each other, whether it's the players or the students, so you see a lot more energy come out.
There was a lot of energy in the building at the start, and it finished up that way tonight. And Tyler, that was fun. I hope we get to do another game like this.
They're fun when they're close, and this one was close. Even 6 points, I don't know if it does it justice. It was almost closer than that. Copper Hills just pulled away with some free throws at the end. And that was fun all throughout. And
did it with great defensive play there at the end as well. Tyler, thanks for another good Friday night. Hopefully we get to do this again next week. Let's hope so. And we'll see if Quincy Hills will join next week as well. Missed tonight, but Langston stepped up. That's true. We still have to find out the status of Quincy Hills, but for tonight at least, Copper Hills can revel in this, a 57-51 victory over the West Jordan Jaguars. The Battle of the Belt, round 1, belongs to the Copper Hills Grizzlies. The return leg will be in February, and honestly cannot wait for that. We'd like to thank all of those men and women behind the scenes, especially those on our crew. Tino, our good cameraman, and of course, our colleagues Dusty Litzer, Dane Stewart, and all the men and women that run this program up, under, and through to you at home. It's been another enjoyable Friday night for all of us here on KSL Game Night Live Rewind. My name is Alexander Tumulep. For my broadcast partner, Tyler Gibb, you've been watching Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage. This has been a presentation of KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. Until next we meet, malama pono ke kahi i ke kahi. Take care of one another, everyone. Good night.